on?
We're going.
All right. Hi, everybody who's joined us virtually. We are going to do a raindrop demonstration. I talked a little bit about it. You guys can see our brave Kelly who's on the table. She's already set up. She's got, we're just going to be working on her feet first, and then we'll flip her over and work on the back. So the raindrop is basically all about the spine, and it's a way of applying oils, specific oils in a specific order to the spine by way of the feet, the VitaFlex points for the spine, which are right up here on the foot. So it goes the coccyx all the way up to the atlas, and then ends with the big toe, which is the brain. So we'll be working all the way from her trunk to her brain by way of her feet, and then we'll actually flip her over and work on her spine. And Gary Young developed this. It is a combination of many different techniques. Some, we have Michelle's a massage therapist, so some she'll recognize, but we'll be using VitaFlex, which was actually brought back from a man named Stanley Burroughs from Tibet. And it accesses, VitaFlex means means vitality through the reflexes. So everybody here, and if you're watching at home, everybody hold out their arm and put the pads of your fingers on your arm. Just doing that alone fires energy through your body. That's because our skin is piezoelectric, which means pressure-induced electricity. So just doing that, that's why applying oils to your skin is very powerful, because you're applying pressure, it's creating a current, and it's shooting those oils through your body, which we want. So if you touch, and then, so you press down on your pad, you flip over on the top, like the tips of your pads, which is firing that electricity through your body, and then you go over, and that's cutting the circuit. Okay? And so you're going pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail, pad, tip, nail. That's VitaFlex. That's all it is. So you can do this on yourself when you apply oils. Instead of just applying them, if you applied VitaFlex, it would actually shoot those oils further into your body and where they need to go. So it's very powerful, but it's very easy. That is the technique we'll be doing on Kelly's feet. All right? So again, Raindrop is all about the spine. It is detoxing. It deals with the curvature of the spine, but so many other things, which you can read. If you look up Raindrop, you can see testimonials. We measured Kelly before, and we're going to measure her afterwards and see what it does with her spine, because in general, people can grow taller from 1/4 of an inch to even 1.5 inches. And you don't grow, it just straightens the spine. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started. The oils that we use for Raindrop are as follows in this specific order. And I have my notes because I do not have the whole thing memorized. But the specific order is Valor. Valor. If you don't have Valor, you can use Sacred Mountain. So these are incredibly grounding, balancing for the energy. So we do that first. So we balance everything with Valor. Then we move on to oregano and thyme. And these are, we'll talk about these a little bit more, but we'll just talk about them as we go. But oregano, thyme, basil, wintergreen, marjoram, cypress, and then peppermint. So those are the Raindrop oils. If you purchase a Raindrop kit, that is what comes in it. In addition to some massage oil, I might have you get that for me in a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to balance, I'm going to apply Valor to her feet and also to her shoulders. And again, this is balancing, and I'm actually going to be feeling for a balance. You can actually literally feel a balancing of the shoulders and of the feet. It's really, whether it be a pulse or some sort of heat, but it'll be off center, and then once you sit and do it for a second, it'll actually balance. So when we feel that, then we move on. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing 3 drops of Valor on each shoulder. So 3 drops each, you lucky girl.
I know.
Who doesn't love Valor, right?
You bought me that Valor.
Did I buy this?
My birthday gift.
My instructor, the blue in Valor is the blue tansy. That's what gives Valor that amazing blue color. And she says that's her I don't care oil. When she uses blue tansy, she doesn't seem to mind much about everything. So I'm just waiting to feel a balance of energy.
So what does that balance of energy feel like?
So it's either you can feel pulse, like her pulse in both your hands. You can feel heat, and I want it to feel the same in both hands.
Mm.
Yeah. So then I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm doing 6 drops of Valor on each foot. So you have a puddle. Okay. Okay. 3, 4. It's going to start smelling really good in here. You all are going to feel great when you go home. Okay. And this, I want right hand to right foot, left hand to left foot. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to wait so I feel an energy balance.
Oh, I can already smell it.
Okay. All right, she's good to go. Okay, so we're going to start on the right foot, and then we move to the left foot for every pass of oils. And I'm going to do Valor again, and I'm going to do 2 drops of Valor in my left hand. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the oil. So activating the oil is just basically getting it into a clockwise motion, which most things in nature move clockwise, including your DNA. So it activates the oil and gets in quickly. So then I'm going to start at her, basically the bottom of her spine on this foot. And I'm just vitaflexing, pad tip nail, all the way up. And I'm hitting her brain. Activate the oil again, and I'm going to do 3 times. 3 times on each foot for each oil. Okay? Does anybody, do you want to look up Valor to see what Valor while I'm doing this? Okay. And I'm never losing contact with her. So I'm always touching her. Okay, now I'm moving on to her left foot.
Just let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead. Read.
This blend was formulated to balance energies and instill courage, confidence, and self-esteem. It helps the body self-correct its balance and alignment. The ingredients, do you want to know the ingredients?
Sure.
Triglyceride,
Oh, just read the oils.
okay, black spruce, rosewood, blue tansy, and frankincense.
We're moving on to oregano now, but the practitioner who I was studying for this, and he said that he's seen people just smell Valor and their spine straightens up. it brings things into balance. Because read that last, what it said, that last thing about valor.
Sorry, I need to. I reckon I was trying to be ahead of the game. Come on, fingers. It helps the body self-correct its balance and alignment.
So it self-corrects alignment. So they use valor, that's why they use it in the raindrop first. Okay, oregano. This is one of the, you have a lot of tightness right there. Like, I haven't felt that on anybody before.
I'm not surprised.
So let's see what your back is going, how your back feels like in that spot. So oregano is incredibly antimicrobial, antifungal. It's used next because it helps to clean receptor sites. So on our cells we have all kinds of receptor sites that get gunked up by all the toxins that we use. All of the cleaning products, our air quality, personal care products, makeup, all kinds of stuff get into our bloodstream. And so what oregano does, which is amazing, oregano and thyme, so these are a duo, and they clean the receptor sites. So they go in and they ungunk everything, if that's a word. Clean out, so they scrub our cells, and that's what we want. They're also, thyme is actually, I think we always talk about oregano, but not talk about thyme as much. And thyme's incredible for the same thing. So do you want to read about oregano?
Mm-hmm. It is listed in Hildegard's Medicine, a compilation of early German medicines by highly regarded Benedictine herbalist Hildegard of Bingen. The uses of it are anti-aging, powerful antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, antiparasitic, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, immune stimulant, radioprotective, and liver protectant. It is used for arthritis, rheumatism, respiratory diseases, infections, tuberculosis, and digestive problems. The fragrance influence creates a feeling of security.
And then I'm working on doing thyme. So I've moved on to the left foot, and I'll tell you that I can feel like a major tightness right here in her foot. So I'm interested to see what her spine in that spot feels like. So we'll see. You doing okay, Tom?
Do you have stomach or digestive issues? by any
Oh,
chance?
sure.
That
we all?
pertains to that part of it.
Does it?
Yeah, that's stomach is on the left. So.
And I started to work on it. I take a lot of supplements, but I changed my eating, and I've just been eating terribly again for the last.
Yeah, that's your stomach area.
Right here along the spine?
Well, it's right next to it in that area there, yeah.
Like right here or right here? Because
Uh,
this is where I'm feeling it all right here.
Well, yeah, on the,
That's
it's on the
super
spine.
tight.
You're right. Yeah.
Can you feel that?
Yeah, for sure.
Way tight. I haven't felt that in the ones that I've done.
Yeah, that's more spine in there. You're right.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you're over just a tiny bit
Yeah, I
too.
haven't- Well, I know that she has digestive stuff though.
Mm.
Okay, so now I'm moving on to, hi Jamie. I'm moving on to basil. But you want to read about thyme, Barb?
Sure. Also known as red thyme, It is mentioned in one of the oldest medical records, the Ebers Papyrus, dating from 16th century BC, an ancient Egyptian list of 877 prescriptions and recipes. The Egyptians used thyme for embalming, listed in the something or other, Medica, Europe's first authoritative guide to medicines, which become the standard reference work for herbal treatments for over 1700 years. Thyme is listed in Hildegard's Medicine, a compilation of early German medicines by highly regarded Benedictine herbalist Hildegard of Bingen.
What's thyme used for?
Uses: infectious diseases, cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's disease, and hepatitis.
Also anti-inflammatory if you drink it. Put it
Yeah.
in tea.
Yeah, oregano and thyme are powerhouses. So that's, every oil that we use addresses, collectively addresses every single system of the body. So,
That one smells nice too.
the thyme,
Makes me wanna have some.
or this is basil.
Oh, is
I'm
it
actually
basil?
doing basil right
Oh,
now.
basil smells nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you wanna read about, basil? Okay, this is gonna smell amazing. Now I'm moving on to wintergreen.
Oh.
And wintergreen is for, bones.
Oh.
So-
For what?
Bones.
Bones?
Oh, I need that one now.
And you use the same amount of
2
drops
drops.
for everything?
2 drops per foot.
Okay.
Basil, used extensively in traditional Asian Indian medicine. Basil's name is derived from Basilium, the Greek name for king. In the 16th century, the powdered leaves were inhaled to treat migraines and chest infections. The Hindu people put basil sprigs on the chests of the dead to protect them from evil spirits. Italian women wore basil to attract possible suitors.
Oh, how funny.
It was listed in Hildegard's Medicine. It's a powerful antispasmodic, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and muscle relaxants.
Oh, I should
It's
bring
used for
it.
migraines, throat and lung infections, and insect bites.
Wow.
Yeah. And what about wintergreen?
No, it's too much. Wintergreen. Leaves have been chewed to increase respiratory capacity by Native Americans when running long distances and performing difficult labor. Settlers in early America had their children chew the leaves for several weeks each spring to prevent tooth decay. Wintergreen was used as a substitute for black tea during the Revolutionary War. Medical properties: anticoagulant, antispasmodic, anti-inflammatory, vasodilator, analgesic, reduces blood pressure and all types of pain. Methyl salicylic, the principal constituent of wintergreen oil, has been incorporated into numerous liniments and ointments for musculoskeletal problems. The oil is used as a flavoring agent in candies and chewing gum. It's used for arthritis, rheumatism, muscle nerve pain, hypertension, atherosclerosis, hepatitis, and fatty liver. Ooh.
Okay, wintergreen. And birch is another, I don't know if Young Living has birch oil. But they said you can use birch oil too instead of
Isn't there
wintergreen.
a white birch?
I just don't, oh yeah, wasn't that during the Christmas? Okay, so I've moved on to marjoram. So do you wanna read about marjoram?
Just
This is a really good one for calming for sleep. I do know a lot
Oh,
of
I
people
need that one.
use that marjoram. On
I
this.
put it in my circulation thing the other day.
Marjoram was known as the herb of happiness to the Romans and joy of the mountains to the Greeks. It was believed to increase longevity. Listed in somebody's medical book, Europe's first authoritative guide to medicines, which became the standard reference work for herbal treatments for over 1,700 years. It also is listed in Hildegard's medicine. Medical properties, its muscle soothing properties help relieve body and joint discomfort, may also soothe the digestive tract and is a general relaxant. Antibacterial, antifungal, vasodilator, lowers blood pressure, promotes intestinal peristalsis, expectorant, and
Mucosis?
mucolic.
Mucolic.
Uses arthritis, rheumatism, muscle nerve pain, headaches, circulatory disorders, respiratory infections, menstrual problems, PMS, fungal infections, ringworm, shingles, sores, spasms, fluid retention.
Wow.
Ringworm for marjoram? Is that
Mhm.
what it says? Wow.
Wow.
Remember that, guys. Okay, cypress. So this is the key oil that we recommend for circulation. It's very gentle oil. It's not spicy like the oregano and thyme and sometimes basil.
Cypress. The Phoenicians and the Cretans used cypress for building ships and bows, while the Egyptians made sarcophagi from the wood. The Greeks used cypress to carve statues of their gods. The Greek word semper vivens, from which the botanical name is derived, means live forever. The tree shares its name with the island of Cyprus, where it is used for worship. Cypress wood is noted for its durability, as it was used most famously for the original doors of St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican that legends say lasted over 1,000 years. Medical properties: improves circulation, is anti-infectious, antispasmodic, and an antioxidant, discourages fluid retention, improves respiration, promotes liver health. It's used in diabetes, circulatory disorders, grounding, and stabilizing.
That's cypress?
It is.
And it's also the oil my daughters stand for, and it, from an emotional standpoint, it's helps with disrespect,
Wow.
which is exactly what we're working on with my daughter. Isn't that interesting? So we are using cypress oil for my daughter. Right. Can we put that on friends? Okay, the last oil in the series on the feet is peppermint. And the reason why it's the last oil is that peppermint is a driver of all the other oils. So we've talked a lot about that for copaiba, but peppermint is actually that as well. And that's why we use peppermint to drive all the oils in. But peppermint has all kinds of other benefits.
Peppermint is one of the oldest and most highly regarded herbs for soothing digestion. Jean Valnet, MD, studied peppermint's effect on the liver and respiratory systems. Alan Hirsch, MD, studied peppermint's ability to directly affect the brain's satiety center, which triggers a sensation of fullness after meals.
You've had that.
Interesting.
You've had that helpful.
Yes.
with you.
Very. Oh my gosh.
How do you use it, Barb, after meals? Do you rub it on or take it?
No, I
out?
put it in my diffuser necklace so that if I start feeling hungry or like I've got to eat something just for the sake of eating, I just take sniffs of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really been helpful for me, cause I'm a late night snacker, so, yeah. Medical properties, anti-inflammatory, anti-tumoral, anti-parasitic, antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, gallbladder, digestive stimulant, pain relieving, curbs appetite. Uses: rheumatism, arthritis, respiratory infections, pneumonia, tuberculosis, etc. Obesity, viral infections, herpes simplex, herpes zoster, cold sores, human papillomavirus, fungal infections, candida, digestive problems, headaches, nausea, skin conditions, itchy skin, varicose veins, eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, scoliosis, lumbago, back problems.
All kinds of stuff.
All kinds of good
Okay.
stuff.
Thank you. So now, my dear, we are going to have you flip over
You
because
got
we
it.
are done with your feet. So I'm just gonna hold.
Oh, I think you want me to flash the camera, huh?
I turned it away.
Okay, are you comfortable?
Yes, I am.
Yeah? Okay, so you can put your feet, your arms, well, wherever you're comfy, but.
I usually hang them down.
Yeah,
Is that
oh,
okay for you?
yeah, that's totally good. Okay, so now
Oh,
I
yeah,
know this
we're gonna
like
take
all,
that
yeah.
off, okay.
You wanna do it? I gotta get your whole back.
Oh, yay.
I turned the camera away while you're doing this.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna get all the way down so I can get the base of your spine. Don't worry, you feel like you're flashing people, but you aren't. And this is where we are going to start doing the technique on why it's called the raindrop. And we start with oregano. Again, we're going to go through this series. So oregano and thyme are the duo. Again, we're going along the spine, and it's working to clean those receptor sites because there's viruses and bacteria all in those lymph nodes on the spine. And so we're using the oils to drive into the spine. And so I applied about 3 inches apart up to her shoulders. We don't want to go past her shoulders because it gets very spicy. And past the shoulders and up on the neck, it can get really hot. So Kelly, at any time, if you're feeling like if you're gonna feel heat, but if it's unbearable, let me know, okay? So what I'm doing is a feathering technique. And Gary learned about this technique from the Native Americans that were over, where's the Aurora Borealis?
Alaska.
Like Alaska.
Greenland?
Yeah. And when they had people that were ill, they would go stand in front of the Aurora Borealis they would stand in front of it to get the energy from the Aurora Borealis, and then somebody behind them would be feathering their back. And that's how they would drive the energy in, and that's where this came from, the feathering technique. And so I did short strokes 3 times, then 6-inch strokes 3 times, then long strokes 3 times. And that's 1 cycle of feathering, okay? So once I do oregano, then I'm gonna do the same thing with thyme. Okay, so I'm going to 1 drop, 3 inches apart, all the way up to just her shoulders. And then I'm gonna do that again. So when you're feathering, you're super light touch, you're not clawing. Okay, you want to treat your hands like a feather. And we're going all the way up to, you know, anatomy, what's that called? The little nodule on your head. base of your skull, like
Brainstem?
right here.
Atlas?
No,
Your brainstem?
The knob,
The-
well, it's the occiput of the head is the base.
the occipital
like something-
occipital
yeah.
ridge, is that what it is?
That sounds correct,
That
yeah.
would be it. So that nodule, so above the atlas, but that's where we wanted. We want the oils to even go there as well. Okay, now I'm doing big strokes. Okay, so now I have my oregano and thyme, and now I'm gonna feather to the side, and that looks like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's just encouraging the oils that are in there that we've applied to the spine to now go out past those nerve endings into the body. All right? So we've already done the VitaFlex. We've already VitaFlexed her feet a lot with those oils. And does anybody remember what VitaFlex means?
Vitality, flexing.
Vitality through the reflexes, okay? And we're using those that reflex points on our feet, using that piezoelectric properties of your skin to fire those oils through her body. And now we're hitting it again on her actual spine. Does anybody remember how long it takes one drop of oil to get into every cell of your body?
20 seconds.
2
20 minutes.
Oh, 20. 20 seconds is when it hits the
bloodstream.
bloodstream.
Yep. Okay, and then I'm going to finish off by just 3 long strokes. Okay, so that's oregano and thyme. That's the duo. Now we're going into the trio, which is basil, wintergreen, and marjoram in that order. All right? So again, we're going to raindrop that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. If somebody has a longer torso, you're going to do more. Kids, you're going to do less because the torso is smaller, right? That's how you measure how many oils. So I did this on Peyton, my 10-year-old, and I said, all right, you got to tell me if this is too much, and he was just fine. I never had to apply extra carrier oil, but you have it there. You guys know that the carrier oil takes the sting away immediately. So you always want to have it on hand if somebody starts to have a lot of discomfort. Okay. Okay. That is basil. Next.
You don't do it down the side?
No, not yet. No. So we're doing wintergreen now. Notice how I'm not losing contact with her. It's just to maintain our energy together. Because I like you.
I like you too. Especially right now.
Yeah. Okay, that's 3 short strokes. Now we're going to the long strokes. And then you start to look, I don't see anything yet, but you can start to see, I'll tell you if I see anything, but sometimes things will start to pop out on the spine, like from detox and different
What do you mean by pop out?
red spots will start to
okay.
show up. Our instructor had her friend, she did this on her friend, and she had what looked like worms pop out. They weren't worms, but they were raised, and they looked like little worms.
Oh.
Yeah. And all that hides in your spine, and the nerve endings next to your spine, so...
I have an itch in my ear. I hope it's not a worm.
Yeah, right? All that talk of... Is everybody starting
Shall we
to
see? Is there any worms in there?
Are there worms in there, Jen?
No worms. We're good.
Okay. You know what they look like, I'm sure, with your. Well, I
I'm
guess
doing
dog worms, is it?
marjoram now. Okay. Okay, now the long strokes. Okay. All right. that is the trio, the basil, wintergreen, and marjoram. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the side of her spine. I'm not going on her spine, but I'm going on the side of her spine. And I'm doing little circles. And I'm actually just pulling the muscle that goes along each side of the spine, and I'm pulling it away.
Are those clockwise, or does it not matter?
No, we're going to the left. We're just, because we want to go up the spine. So all the way up the spine, and then I'm going to go this way. But what's interesting is that if you did this on somebody who was paralyzed, you would go down the spine. So we always go up the spine unless somebody who's paralyzed will go down the spine. Okay, so
Do you know why that is?
nope. But I don't know. Do you have an idea?
No, I don't.
Must be an energy
It's
thing. I
interesting.
don't know. But I'm gonna do this 3 times. Most everything is done in 3s. How does that feel, Kelly?
Wonderful.
Is this feeling spicy? You okay?
It feels just
Warm?
cozy. Yeah,
Okay,
warm,
good.
but not
Because it's
spicy.
getting red, so that could be detox. Because what we're doing is, you notice how we're going up. So we're pushing toxins up, which then can go through the body and be released. That's why you want to drink tons of water. That's why you want to, you could take a detox bath, but we're basically releasing toxins using the oils and using our fingers to, we're basically pairing Vitaflex and oils together to make a really, really powerful release for your body.
Thoughts on the paralysis thing? People with spinal cord injuries have cervical, issues, and that's where their paralysis comes from most of the time. And if you're pushing the oils and the toxins up into their spinal cord, maybe it can't flush the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Just a thought. I could be wrong.
Feel some tension. So this is where, at this time, you can actually, if you feel tense areas, you can actually put some aroma seeds, which was made for like muscle spasms and tight muscles. So aroma seeds has a lot of those oils in them. Okay.
Aroma seeds?
Aroma seeds. S-I-E-Z.
Oh, aroma seeds.
Seeds. Okay, so now we're moving on to cypress, and we're gonna do a little bit different. Instead of, we're gonna sprinkle. So you'll use more cypress than you will some of the other oils. So just like a sprinkler. And then we're gonna feather that in. 3 times small. And then some longer strokes. And then long strokes. Okay. And then we're going to do what's called the thumb Vitaflex. So I'm going to go on the end, either side of her spine, where the muscles are. So we're not on her spine, and we're doing pad tip nail, and there's a lot of pressure. Is that okay, Kelly? Okay. So it generally feels really good. But remember, we're doing that pad tip nail, and that's the Vitaflex. This is why you cannot have long nails, because this will drive into her skin, and you can't wear nail polish. So I have now said goodbye to nice nails and nail polish. Because I'd rather do Raindrop than I would, I don't know. It's okay. So we're basically continuing to drive these oils and fire them through the spine. Up to where they can release and go through her body and detox. Okay, and we go all the way up to the occipital ridge. Occipital ridge. Okay, and we do that 3 times. Okay. And you want to stagger your fingers, obviously, so that your thumbs don't hit. How's that going? And they kind of just move. They kind of just go when you. You still okay, Kelly? Okay. And again, she's like. So, David Stewart, who teaches this is the man who sort of took this from Gary and created the certification, which is what I attended. And he said he had suffered from back pain for 42 years and had one raindrop and his back pain went away and it never came back.
Wow.
That's not... I told you guys the story about the girl with IC that's not having any pain anymore. This is not like it's going to cure all, but it's happening. And it's something about, well, the one I believe that created the oils.
So do they talk about how it works with scoliosis of the back?
So that's what it originally was for. Yes. So Gary Young was a chiropractor, and he developed this using different techniques, but he was seeing, obviously a lot of spinal issues, and so he created this, and that's why you work on the spine, and that's why we'll measure Kelly, because it's this book right here, this statistical, there's a book underneath there, and there's tons of testimonials about people with scoliosis who were cured from scoliosis just by, like, legally you're not allowed to say that.
Right.
You can't market that and say it's going to cure your scoliosis, but if it happens, well, it happens.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping for Kelly tonight. Right?
What about bulging discs?
I'm sure it would be really great for bulging discs. It's very gentle, so it's just the power of the oils that is doing its thing, and then the application in the order and the specific techniques. People with, allergies and migraines, and in here. So this is a book that has a bunch of different testimonials about the Raindrop. Okay, so we finished the thumb VitaFlex, and now what we're gonna do is so we're going along her spine. I'm gonna just go with me, okay? Don't fight me. And I'm taking my two fingers and I've got them on either side of the spine, and I'm moving it around, and I'm basically pushing up, and it's similar to like a tube of toothpaste. And so we're trying to drive again the toxins out of her from her lymph nodes and the nerves that sit along her spine, and drive them out, similar to you trying to get that last bit of toothpaste out of the tube. And I'm just finding her natural rhythm. And I apply a lot of pressure. Are you okay, Kelly?
Oh, wonderful.
You're gonna put yeah, okay. Yeah, you do that. Okay. And it goes a little faster but we're pushing it up.
I never want it to end.
Okay, one more time. Last time. Michelle does massage.
Shanna, did you have this done to yourself?
Mm-hmm. So I did, and we were all practicing on each other. So we did the Raindrop, and we all got to receive the Raindrop. And I didn't really have any issues that I was working on, but I had it done in the morning, and when by the afternoon I felt so clear. I just felt good, alert, clear, focused. So I loved it. I did not want to get off the table either. Okay, so the next technique we're doing is we stretch the spine. Do a little shake. 2 more times. Stretch. Right, stretch.
Now where you have the palm, that's just off the spine?
Yeah, it's not on the spine. It's
To the side?
I'm putting pressure on the muscles on either side
So
of the
is your hand
spine.
kind of cupped?
Yes. Yeah, it looks like my hands are flat, but they're actually, I'm not putting any pressure on her spine. Okay, can you get the ortho ease for me? Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply a carrier oil all along her back. And this is ortho ease. This comes in the Raindrop kit. And we were just reading the ingredients. It's amazing what it has in it. It's got vetiver and some of the Raindrop oils. So it has peppermint and juniper and marjoram and vetiver and thyme, wintergreen. It smells amazing. And the price point is actually, gosh, I don't remember how much it is, but for how much you get, plus we got it for free.
And
Did
that-
we get it for free?
It comes
Like,
in the Raindrop
It
kit
does,
too.
but I think we got this for free a couple months ago for like Essential Rewards too. So, you know, if you had time, you could do a little massage if you wanted to. But we're gonna do the palm slide, which you're just going back and forth. We're gonna go up and down 3 times. So that is 1. Does that smell good? Can you guys smell that?
Mhm.
So Shannon, if people have a lot of issues with their spine, do they have it like maybe once every 6 weeks?
Well, if you look in the essential oils desk reference on different ailments, it'll say like Raindrop once a week. I mean, it's recommended for a lot of different things. So there are people that go weekly to get raindrops, definitely, especially if you're working through something like, you know, all kinds of things. Okay, so we're starting to get closer to being done. We're going to do Valor, and this is where we sprinkle it again. So more than like the oregano and thyme. Okay, we're gonna feather 3 times. Okay, and then we're gonna do longer. And then long. Okay, and then we're gonna do what's called angel wings. So go out. And this is a similar technique. This is another technique that the Native Americans would do for healing, but they would use feathers this way too. But they call this technique the angel wings because it kind of looks like angel wings that you're making. So you do short ones, and then you do 6-inch ones. And then 12-inch. And then full length. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. So you can start getting the water hot on that. The last one, remember, what do we use peppermint for in this? It's a driver. So we're driving all those oils that we just applied. We're gonna drive that in. And I'm only putting 3 max. 2 or 3 max. Okay, I'm gonna feather. And what Carlena is doing, what we're gonna do is once I feather the peppermint in and do angel wings, we're gonna put a hot towel on her spine and cover her up and let her sit. They call it baking the patient. And it's driving those oils in, because what does water do with oils?
It separates.
It drives, that's why water drives the
Right.
oils in deeper. So we're using heat and the wetness. That's why you don't want to put
Flush your
water
eyes with
in your
water.
eyes, because it drives it in if you get oil in your eyes. And then it's going to feel like once it starts feeling really cold, then we know that we're done. Because it'll be sort of like icy hot, and then it'll get like temperature like, oh my gosh, I'm really cold. And that's when you know you're done. So I'm just finishing up with angel wings. "12"
Mm-hmm.
full length. Okay. So I'm gonna put this towel over first, so it's not like super intense. Put that along her spine and cover it up. How's the temperature, Kelly? Is it bearable?
Great. Oh yeah.
It's good? Okay, and we're gonna take this out of your pants.
Bake me.
Cover you up, girl. And then we let her sit for about 5 minutes, and always stay in contact if you can. But if you have nobody getting water for you like Carlene did, then. So we are done. Once it starts to feel cold, we'll just take it off, and she'll drink tons of water. And we're gonna then go measure her and see if her spine's straightened. And I'll be sure to share a picture, but we'll let you guys go so you don't have to sit here and stare at us for five minutes. Okay? Thanks for joining us. Let us know if you have any questions.